Hello, so I hope you're fine and that you have enjoyed your holidays to relax and rest. This is our first lesson about our new sequence about Northern Islands. Northern Island. So here's the correction of the work you had to do about the anticipation and especially about the poem. So if we want to introduce the text, we can say that this poem, so it's a poem, and it was written in 1979, which is right in the middle of the trouble, this conflict which opposed two different communities in Northern Ireland during the late 20th century, because it started in the 1960s. And so, as we said, it's a poem. So, in a poem, the poet uses the characteristics of language to play with it and to evoke meaning, but mainly feelings. So, from this document, we can expect a personal and intimate rendering of the troubles. So, in a way, a vision from the inside of what the troubles were, and this human experience of the trouble. So, if we analyze the poem more precisely, so with the lexical field, so we've got different lexical fields. The first one is obviously about violence and war because the poem is extremely dark. So we've got direct allusion to this violence with bombs and bullets, referring to the weapons used to inflict pain and death during the conflict. And then we've got another lexical field in yellow, which corresponds to the consequences of this war, of the conflict, of the violence. So here we've got bury their dead, so it refers to death. Black armband can also refer to the death of people. This march in silence is about the same. So it refers to the death which are caused by the troubles and the consequences directly on the people. And we've got another consequence, which is here on the land, on the physical territory. And here, scar this land, so we can mention the verb scar, like the scar of Harry Potter. And here, there is a personification of the land, which is compared in a way to the body of a person. And the conflict has left scars and marks and physical marks on the body. And so it's indeed extremely dark because of the violence, but it's also a call for help. You've got a lexical field about this idea of protest, of raising the voice. So in green, raise their voice, raise a hand. This idea of marching to protest. This idea of taking a stand. You've got different verbs of action: swear, take a stand, raise, march, which can be opposed to this idea of silence and death, and this idea of motionlessness. And this can refer to the call for help of the people inside Northern Ireland. And here the poet, in a way, is a relay, and the poem is a platform where these people can be heard and can be listened to by people from the outside. So as we said, it's a vision from the inside, but it calls for help from the people outside Northern Ireland. So if we focus a little bit more on the troubles on this Northern Ireland conflict, which started in the 1960s. So what you have to remember first is this opposition between two communities or two factions within Northern Ireland. So you one side the Unionists, or we can call them the Loyalists. They were mainly Protestant, and they were what they wanted. They wanted Northern Ireland to remain within the United Kingdom. So this idea of Unionists to be loyal to the Queen and to the monarchy. And on the other side, you had the Irish nationalist, or another name which is used is Republican, and they were mostly Catholics, and they wanted to leave the United Kingdom and to join a united Ireland, so to join the Republic of Ireland and Northern Ireland. So this opposition obviously brought conflict and violence that are referred to in the poem. And we can also mention this idea of borderland. So in blue, a borderland is this land. It's this space in between two spaces, and here it's a land which is in between two nations or two countries. So here the border the border which separates the two spaces. Can refer to the border between Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland, but it can also refer to a border which is inside and within the nation and which is not materialized, which is invisible, but which is extremely dividing. And here it's the border, the symbolic border that divides the Catholics and the Protestants and the Loyalists and the Nationalists. And alongside, you've got this line showing their colors and following their band. So here there's a sense of pride which is evoked, the pride of the people of the different communities who are proud of their belonging, who are proud of the colors can refer to the flag, they are proud of their flag. They are proud of their religion, they are proud of their ideas, of their community, and you've got also their band. The band can refer to music band, but also to this community that they belong to and that they feel close to. So there's a sense of pride, but we can notice that the poet doesn't take side. He talks about people, he doesn't talk about Catholics or Protestants or Unionists and Republicans. He talks about people as member of the human race, as member of the humankind, and he expresses the feelings, the deep feelings and the deep pain or suffering that they feel. So they refer to people, okay, and not to a specific side of the conflict. Right. So if we focus on the message and the intentions of the poet, so in this poem, the poet testifies to the atrocity of the war that was taking place in his homeland, and he's describing these atrocities as he witnessed this in his country, and it's a call for help, but really a call to make people sympathize and commiserate with him and his country. So he wanted people to see how tragic the situation was through his poem, and he wanted people to react and to help his country. So that's why we said that the poem is a relay, a platform, and the poet is an intermediary between the people inside his homeland and the people outside this country. And we learned that the author of the poem was only 17 years old when he wrote it. So a teenager, young adult. So we could have expected something maybe more optimistic because of his age, more soapy or sentimental. But in a way, as we said and as we analyzed, it's extremely dark, and dark and gloomy. Um, so we can deduce that the teenager he was quite afraid and worried about the future of his country, and as a consequence, the future of his nation and of himself. So this poem was written in a very specific cultural and historical anchoring to give a personal and intimate rendering of the of the conflict as a human experience. But this poem can also apply to other situations that we unfortunately have seen during history in different countries. So, for example, no, this is not it. So the U.S. Civil War from 1861 to 1865, and the death and that were caused by this, or more recently, unfortunately, the civil war in Syria, which started in the years 2011. So they both, this poem could refer to this situation as it evokes the pain, the suffering of the people of these nations, but people who belong to the human race and who feel the same thing in the same type of situation. And so to conclude this poem, so the relation of this poem to our sequence. So the topic is indeed territory and memory, and so we can link it to this idea of violence. The poem indeed shows the violence of this historical period and how it has left scars. So we can see in the poem scars on the land, on the physical territory, but it has also left scars on the people, on their and on their memory. So we can wonder whether these scars have been healed, the scars of the past have been healed, or to what we can wonder whether these scars are still shaping today. They are still shaping the life of people, the mind of people, the culture of the country, the feelings of the people, and also the politics of Northern Ireland today. So we'll see that in the next lesson, which is going to be about the Brexit and the Northern Ireland border, and we'll see how the troubles are still present through the Brexit negotiation and the Brexit arrangements. So I hope it's clear. So I'll see you later with another video about Brexit. So see you soon. Bye bye.